Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is your boy Fitzmonk TV here, aka Lauren33. I'm back here today with another video on the channel for you guys, and today we are talking about the newest entry into the Dragon Ball anime franchise. We are talking about Dragon Ball Magic. Yes, Dragon Ball Magical. It rolls off the tongue pretty easily. And I gotta get used to saying that now, because that is what's coming. It's not the return of Dragon Ball Super. It's not a reboot or anything of GT, even though we'll get into like the plot details in a little bit. Toriyama is taking some ideas from GT for this new show, but it's not Dragon Ball GT. It's something different, something we have not seen yet. From Toriyama, and truth be told, I'm excited for it. It's Dragon Ball, man, and Toriyama's working on it, and I'm gonna give it a chance. We're gonna go through everything that we do know about this show, and we're gonna get tons more information wise on this in the coming weeks, because we're supposed to get the official teaser trailer for the show at New York Comic Con in just a couple weeks. I might be attending. We'll see. Yeah. So first, shout out to DBS Hype and Geekdom 101. They were the ones that reported this information. There's a lot of people that knew about this information, and a lot of people were choosing to keep quiet. All right, but there was a lot of misinformation out there. There was a lot of people claiming to know stuff that didn't know, or were just passing out misinformation. So it kind of forced people like Geekdom 101 and DBS Hype to have to go out there and kind of clear it up, because it was getting out of hand. All right, and part of this is because we live in this social media age where everybody has an opinion. Everybody can say whatever they want, and sadly, sometimes people say stuff that is so far from the truth, but other people will pick up on it and make it and believe that it's true, and that's how misinformation starts. Plus, for people that had sources in Japan or knew about the web anime for however long, there's people that known for a year, there's people that have known for the last couple months, or however, it's not that hard in the age of social media for information to arise. One person, all it takes is one person telling another person, and that person telling another person, and then it spreads. Right? There was a lot of content creators that did know a little bit about Dragon Ball Magic that chose to completely stay quiet, that were hoping that at least the big announcement wouldn't be made until New York Comic Con. But it's just really hard. It's insanely hard in this day of age to keep those things hidden. Almost anything that's going on, it's hard to hide it. I watched Geekdom 101's stream yesterday, depending when you guys are watching this video, and he brought up the perfect analogy: Spider-Man No Way Home. Everybody knew that Tony Maguire and Andrew Garfield were coming back. It was the worst kept secret. In this day of social media, it's just impossible to hide that type of stuff for too long. And that's the thing with Dragon Ball Magic. If you guys saw, there was all the hints were there about one of the big things with this show. And what do I mean by that? Look at all the new toys that were getting released in the last couple months, right? Who are they centered around? Kid Goku, Dragon Ball Legends, Dragon Ball Dokkan Battle, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot with the new DLC they dropped. What did we get in that? We got Kid Goku versus Piccolo, right? There was so much happening around Kid Goku. It was kind of just a worst kept secret, So it was kind of like with the new show, it was going to have something to do with Kid Goku. Some people were saying that it was going to be something with OG Dragon Ball, like a new, never before seen arc, right? Some people were saying, oh no, Toriyama's going to do his own version of Dragon Ball GT, which is kind of what he's doing in a way with Dragon Ball Magic, but it's also different, which of course, like I said, we'll get into the plot details in a little bit, but everything is, it's different here with, but Kid Goku is coming back in this show, and a lot of people are gonna have a lot of thoughts on that. I'll give you guys my honest thoughts on it in a little bit. But it's gonna be pretty interesting, for sure. And with all the information that people were trying to spread out there, a lot of it was false. I'm glad that DBS Hype and Geekdom 101 came out and they said, no, this is what's happening. This is the new show. This is what we know about it. One thing we got to know, DBS Hype and Geekdom 101, as credible as they are, they don't know everything. Of course, what they give us is probably just a very small bit of what we actually know about this show. We don't know how many episodes it's going to be. We don't know how long the episodes are going to be. We don't know when the release date is, right? We don't know who's the main villain yet. We don't know what other characters from the Dragon Ball universe are going to appear in the show, or if it's just going to be a bunch of new characters, right? We have no idea. We have no place. We don't really know where in the timeline that this show takes place. We have ideas, but we don't know. And that's why, at New York Comic Con, hopefully we'll start getting those answers, right? And then say this show comes out in 2024, like early 2024, like we expect it to, right? In the next couple of months, as we end 2023, God willing, and we enter 2024, we'll get more details, and we'll learn more and more. What the information that DBS Hype and Geekdom 101 have given us, that's only a little bit. All right, only a little bit. And remember, they don't work for Shueisha or Toei or any of these other companies. They they only know a little bit of what's actually going on. So I'm seeing on people, I've seen on social media the last couple of days, people being angry at some of these content creators for revealing the secrets of Dragon Ball Magic before Toei and the rest of these companies officially got to reveal it at New York Comic Con, right? But at the end of the day, this is the way it is in the social media age, right? And my whole thing is, I have no problem because I cover leaks on here all the time, right? We cover the DBS manga and other things. Like I've been covering leaks for years, My whole thing is, if you know information about something and you're bragging that you know this information, or you keep talking about how you know this information, but you're not going to say anything, that's when I get annoyed. Like, for example, DBS Chronicles on Twitter, right? A well-known Dragon Ball reporter. He gets in arguments with people all the time because people will call him out when he says something and maybe he doesn't stick to his word, or he claims that, he knows when, he'll put a date on when an announcement is supposed to be made for this or that, right? And then he tries to backtrack, or he tries to find a sneaky way around his words to claim, no, he never meant this or that. Sometimes, I'm gonna be honest, Chronicles comes out, he comes, to me, he comes off as a smart ass, right? Who really, who refuses to admit when he's wrong. I don't know the guy personally, but that's the way he comes off, right? For months, he's been saying all this stuff about the web anime, and he's put some dates on stuff and been wrong about it, right? And he's always claiming that he knows this, he knows that. And when the official release comes out, he's going to be proven right. If you know something, right? Good for you. Don't keep talking about how you know something and refuse to tell other people. If you know something, then and you don't want to make an announcement for whatever reason, or you don't want to make a video about it, fine, that's your business. But then just keep it to yourself. All the time he kept talking about the web anime, how he knew all this about the web anime, right? And I'm like, dude, you have this huge, following. All these people look at your tweets because you've built up this reputation of being credible over the years. But then, you say you know this and that, but you won't tell anything. But yet you keep talking about how you know about it. If you're not gonna give information about the web anime, then just don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. That's my thing. If you knew about the web anime and you chose not to talk about it, or you chose not to review anything about it, then just leave it at that. Just wait till we get the official announcement like everybody else. Simple. Why are you talking about, oh, I know about the web anime, I know the details and all that, right? But not refusing to give anybody any details about it. Like, that just comes off as braggy and being a smartass, and I'm not with that. I'm not with that. Like, for example, I'm cool with Geekdom 101, right? We're not best friends or anything, but we're cool. We're in the same Discord server. We talk about Dragon Ball wrestling all the time. He's a good guy, right? He didn't go on saying, oh, he gave me some details about the web anime. He didn't give me all the information, but, he told me stuff. He was like, I'm not going to tell you everything because, I'm going to wait till until either it's leaked by somebody else or until we get the official announcement from Comic-Con, because I don't want, put my name on this stuff. Because everyone remembers back in 2019 when he made that video saying that the Dragon Ball Super anime was going to come back, right, in July of the next year. And it didn't because, plans changed and Geekdom got shitted on for it. He learned from his mistake. He was like, I'm never making that mistake again. I'm not, going to allow myself to get taken advantage like that and have people, shit on my name. So I respect the hell out of Geekdom 101, for, knowing about the web anime, but not saying anything until somebody else leaked all this information about it. So for people shitting on Geekdom 101, then, dude, no. You're just being an asshole at that point. He's not the one that made the announcement about the web anime. Somebody else did. And he just made a video and a stream correcting people on that information. Of course, he's going to make money off it because covering Dragon Ball on his YouTube channel is his job. But, and I think, the most important thing he wanted to do is, correct all that misinformation that was flying. Because everybody all over the place was claiming to know stuff about the web anime where very little people, very few people actually knew anything about it. So he was mainly just correcting people on the information that was already out there. Simple as that. And DBS Hype, he's the most credible guy, I think, in the community when it comes to reporting Dragon Ball news. So he made an Instagram reel, which we're going to get to in a little bit, that covers a lot of the details about the web anime. And he got crapped on over because, he revealed it too early and stuff like that. Hype's one of the nicest guys in the community. He doesn't argue with people. He just goes about his business, reports news, and, lives his life. Like, it's like people can never decide what they want. At one hand, everybody wants, all the people that know about the web anime and all this other stuff, right, to reveal everything they know right then, right there. But then when they do reveal any information that they know, they get crapped on because people are like, you're just doing it for clout or money or views and all this other stuff. It's like the amount of toxicity I've seen especially in the Dragon Ball community, it's ridiculous. I don't know if this is the way it's like in like the Boruto communities or the One Piece communities or anything like that, but it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and it should not be that way at all. Simple. At the end of the day, we are all Dragon Ball fans. We all love Dragon Ball, and it should be that simple. Either you're gonna like Dragon Ball Magic or you're not, and that's okay. But all this other stuff, all this hatred that people have on each other over an anime, seriously, guys. The amount of stuff I'm hearing, people making threats on other people because someone didn't, got the release date wrong. Look, I don't like misinformation either, but it's not that deep. At the end of the day, it's just an anime. Simply put, it's just an anime. Ugh. So that's really my thoughts on all the stuff I've seen on social media and all the content creators that are getting crapped on, the ones that are covering Dragon Ball Magic before it was officially announced and all that, man. Like, this is the world we live in. It's crazy. But I thought I would talk about that before actually getting into this. So, yeah, so let's actually, enough talk about, the leaks and everything like that. Let's actually talk about Dragon Ball Magic, right? What is Dragon Ball Magic? Well, first things first, it is a web anime. What is that? Well, a web anime is a little bit different than a TV anime. Of course, Like, for example, Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, when Dragon Ball Super was on the air from like 2015 to 2018, 2019. Um, Dragon Ball Super was on, I believe, what is Fuji TV every single week um, in Japan, which is mainly like Sunday mornings, Saturday nights here in the US, etc., etc. And with Dragon Ball Super, right, or for any with a TV anime, it's on. It's pretty simple. A TV anime is an anime that's on TV weekly, right? New episodes are on TV every single week. With this web anime, Dragon Ball Magic will not be on TV. It could maybe later down the line. It could be, maybe a TV network in Japan will pick it up and show the episodes on TV. But Dragon Ball Magic, when the new episodes of Dragon Ball Magic will be on online on streaming, probably streaming service, probably Crunchyroll will probably be the one to get it. And there's, web animes are becoming more and more common these days. There's a lot of web animes out there. Let me know in the comment section what's your favorite web anime. But yeah, so it'll be on streaming platforms. Like I said, it'll probably be Crunchyroll. I can't confirm that, but that's most likely what I would guess it's gonna be on, and wherever you guys watch your anime. So that's the first things. Next, Dragon Ball Magic. Why people being why is it not Dragon Ball Super? Right? I want Dragon Ball Super back more than anybody. Okay, I love Dragon Ball Super, even with its faults. I want to see the Moro arc, get animated. I want to see the Granola arc get animated. I want to see whatever they got planned after this, And I will say this, the Dragon Ball Super manga is continuing. It's not ending, right? I don't. Part of me hopes that at New York Comic Con they will potentially reveal what's next for the Dragon Ball Super manga, because of course we are getting towards the end of the Dragon Ball Super superhero arc in the manga. They've been retelling the superhero movie all year in the manga, and they're almost towards the end. They're right now at the time of me recording this video, they're at the end, and they're doing the battle with Cell Max, which I believe they'll probably be done with it in about 2 or 3 chapters max. They're getting very close to Beast Gohan, so they should be finished with the superhero retelling. And for the most part, the superhero retelling has been exactly the same from the movie, with a couple different things here and there, like Goten and Trunks having a little more of a role, and some other things here and there. But for the most part, it's pretty much exactly the same as what we saw in the movie. But for the Dragon Ball Super manga, right, the Torotaro is still handling the manga. Toriyama is still working with Torotaro on the manga, right? For the most part, it's Torotaro stuff that's approved by Toriyama. But Toriyama still is working with Torotaro on the manga, and that's going to be continuing. What's going to be happening after the superhero arc? I think a lot of us would hope that it would be something with Goku, Broly, and Vegeta going up against Black Frieza, but we don't know. We just know that Goku, Vegeta, and Broly are training on Beerus's planet. And that Black Frieza is out there. We'll see if that's the next arc after superhero, but that's what we know. A lot of us is hoping, since it said, if you guys remember, in the announcement for the Dragon Ball panel at New York Comic Con, they said they would be discussing the newest news from the manga and for the anime. Of course, the teaser trailer that we get at New York Comic Con will be for Dragon Ball Magic, the anime, but for the manga, we don't know. It could be them just promoting the superhero arc in the manga, or maybe they'll make an announcement or give a teaser for the next arc of the Dragon Ball Super manga. The most important thing is, even though we're getting Dragon Ball Magic, the Dragon Ball Super manga is going to be continuing for now. All right, there's no plans to end it yet. Okay, at some point, hopefully, we will get the Dragon Ball Super anime back and get the Granola and the Moro arcs animated along with whatever is next. But there's no plan as of right now. Maybe I would probably tell you guys, if you guys are hoping for the Dragon Ball Super animated return, get that out of your head for now. All right, we're not getting that, at least not until probably Dragon Ball Magic is complete. I'd probably say maybe 2025, maybe. And that's at minimum maybe. And I'm not trying to put a date on it. I'm just saying, like, for the foreseeable future, don't expect anything anime wise when it comes to the Dragon Ball Super franchise. All right, maybe in 2025, maybe that's when we'll get it back. Also, in terms of Dragon Ball Super or just in general, we do know, even though we're getting Dragon Ball Magic, we do know that there is right now, they're in pre-production for another Dragon Ball movie. We don't know if this is another Dragon Ball Super movie. We don't know if this movie will have something to do with Dragon Ball Magic. We don't know if it's, something that we've never seen before. All we know is that this the next Dragon Ball movie is in pre-production. My hope would be it's a Dragon Ball Super movie, but we don't know. We don't know. All right, but we'll just have to wait, see what happens in the coming months and in the year. And as slowly as time goes on, hopefully we'll get more information on the next Dragon Ball movie. But right now we have no ideas on when that's gonna come out or what it would even be about. If it has something to do with Dragon Ball Magic or if it's Dragon Ball Super or something completely different. Okay. So yeah, I want to get those things out of the way. I feel like I'm doing a full podcast on this thing. Now, getting into Dragon Ball Magic, right? First things first. You see, first off, shout out to Rivera Art. This is his art. This is not an image from Dragon Ball Magic or anything like that. This was a fan art, and you're gonna see tons of these coming out. There's so much talent out there in the Dragon Ball community. You're gonna see tons of these fan images of Dragon Ball Magic. So first things first, and I'm gonna play this video here from DBS Hype that he posts on Instagram about Dragon Ball Magic in just a second, and we'll discuss the details. But what we do know, Dragon Ball Magic will center around Kid Goku and Supreme Kai being turned back into kids by a magical demon, right? It's not Moro, first off. Like, I know, of course, in the manga, Moro, his whole thing is he has magic powers on another level. But Goku and Supreme Kai will be turned back into kids by a magical demon, and the whole plot of the story will be them trying to get their adult bodies back. And they'll be going on this adventure. All right. And the adventure will have them going to other planets and other worlds, and there'll be other characters involved, and there'll be tons of fighting, tons of cool battles. But basically that's like the basic plot. Goku and Supreme Kai being turned into kids, and then by a magical demon, and them trying to defeat this demon and gain their adult bodies back. Right. Based on what I've heard is it's different. All right, it's different for sure. It might not be as edgy as Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball Super really is, right? They're saying that this is maybe a little more for the younger side. I don't know. I'm not saying this is gonna be just a kid show. I don't think that's what it's gonna be at all. But it's gonna be a little bit different than what we've seen from DBZ and Dragon Ball Super. It might not have the over the top, like the transformation and the big battles and everything like that, right? Of course, we don't really know what's the vibe or the real tone's gonna be until we see like a teaser trailer and we get more information. But that is what we've been hearing. All right, it's not gonna be really on the level of Dragon Ball Super or anything like that. First thing first, what do I think of Goku being turned back into a kid? Well, first off, Toriyama is clearly taking the idea of Goku being turned back into a kid straight from Dragon Ball GT, right? So I know GT fans might be very happy about that. I like GT. I don't love it or anything. Of course, GT gave us one of my favorite forms ever in Dragon Ball in Super Saiyan 4, and Dragon Ball GT has some very cool moments. But I'll be honest, I was never the biggest fan. One of my biggest gripes in GT is Goku being turned back into a kid. I didn't like it that much at all. I understood why they did it, and it made sense to the story, right? And of course, it also weakened Goku a little bit. But I was never the biggest fan of it. I have to see how they do it in this show. I don't know. This is Toriyama taking something from GT and doing his own way. Remember when he brought Broly from DBZ and because remember, Toriyama didn't create Broly. He did not create the character of Broly for the 3 Broly movies that we had back in the days of DBZ. Toriyama took the idea of Broly, all right, and made his own version of Broly for the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. And now what you're seeing in the DBS manga, right? That was Toriyama. The Broly you see in Dragon Ball Super is Toriyama's version of Broly. So whatever version of Kid Goku that we see in this new show is Toriyama's version of Kid Goku and the Supreme Kai. All right. I think it's going to be more than just seeing Kid Goku return. I think seeing the Supreme Kai return is also going to be pretty cool as well. All right. That should be pretty cool. And it's going to be interesting to see how he gets roped up into this. How does this all happen? Right. But like I said, I was never the biggest fan of Goku being turned back into a kid in GT. Right. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do it here. One thing that's note, and I'm gonna play this reel from DBS Hype here in just a couple moments. We don't know anything about we don't know if like other characters like Vegeta and Piccolo, Gohan, Beerus are gonna be in it. We don't know. But based off this reel, the only 2 main characters that were mentioned were Goku and Supreme Kai. It says a lot that they're going to be off-world for this. So yeah, I'm guessing that the majority of this show won't even take place on Earth. That's just my guess. I think this is going to be a lot of Goku and Supreme Kai going to other planets, traveling, and then, going after this magical demon, So that will be interesting. And of course, there's going to be tons of new characters that are introduced as well. Look, of course, that reminds me a lot of Dragon Ball GT as well, because we all know in GT, after Goku's turned into a kid, right, the Black Star Dragon Balls appear, and of course, Goku, Pan, Trunks, they have to go fighting the Black Star Dragon Balls across the galaxy, right? So that seems definitely like another plot point from GT that Toriyama is taking and putting into this new show, Dragon Ball Magic. Does it seem like it's not? We're not getting the Black Star Dragon Balls in this show, but the idea of Goku going, to other planets and facing warriors, it's almost exactly like the first arc of Dragon Ball GT. All right. So we'll see how that goes. Another thing, where does this take place in the timeline, right? I think we'll get more details at New York Comic Con, but the 2 things I have heard are either this takes place after the end of Z, so this would take place, of course, after the end of Dragon Ball Superhero. But remember, the Dragon Ball Super manga and the anime, technically, neither one has reached the end of Z yet. At this point in the timeline, we are very close to where Goku meets Oob, but we're not there yet. So if it takes place after Superhero, there's rumor out there that it takes place after the end of Z, or there's another rumor going out there that it takes place after Battle of Gods, or not after Battle of Gods, before Battle of Gods, after the end of the Buu saga, which there is a space of time in there, which would make sense. Um, but I can't confirm where it takes place in the timeline. I think having it, my personal opinion is, if it takes place after the Majin Buu saga, that would make, I think, would make a little more sense. But still, I don't know if that's what they're going with. Because if it's after the end of Z, right? We've never been beyond that point with Toriyama writing the story. Because remember, Toriyama didn't write GT, right? That was completely different. Um, so we'll have to wait and see on that. Um, so I would prefer that it takes place after the Buu saga, so that it doesn't have any conflict with where Dragon Ball Super potentially may go, or what they do once Super reaches the end of Z. Because my guess is, unless Toriyama comes out and says that this is completely different from the Dragon Ball Super timeline or anything like that, my guess is that this show will take place somewhere in Toriyama's Dragon Ball timeline. Of course, Toriyama's timeline has changed over the years, but with Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, that's Toriyama's main three works. My guess is Dragon Ball Magic will take place somewhere in that timeline. Probably, in between DBZ and DBS, in my opinion. But it might take place at the end of, or after DBS, after the end of Z. Who knows? Who knows? Once we know, of course, I'll make a video on it. But, the two rumored spots are after the Majin Buu saga, before Battle of Gods, or after the end of Z, where Goku meets Oob. So I'm gonna play this quick 50-minute or 50-second clip from DBS Hype's Instagram reel with more details about Dragon Ball Magic, and then we'll talk about more getting into it. So let's go.
Thing you need to know about the new Dragon Ball anime. The name will be Dragon Ball Magic, and it'll take place before the end of Z. Goku and the Supreme Kai turn into kids by a demon, and it will be their objective to chase and defeat that very same demon so that they can get back their bodies. To do so, they will go from planet to planet fighting all sorts of grunts. Most characters will be new, two in particular will help Goku and the Supreme Kai, but there will also be some other older characters. Katsuyoshi Nakasuru will be character designer and Aya Komaki series director. Animation style ranging from 90s looks to more modern animation and even 3D scenes akin to DQ Dai. Dragon Ball Magic will debut in the first half of 2024, and it'll go on for about 14 to 15 episodes, with a duration of 30 to 45 minutes each. The anime will mainly stream on Crunchyroll in most parts of the world. Official announcement coming soon. Thanks to Super Chronicles on Twitter for the reveal. Everything you need to know about the new Dragon Ball anime. The name will be
So DBS Hype. So I didn't even notice. I've watched this real. I didn't even notice the end part. So DBS Hype made the reel, but DBS Chronicles, I guess, provided the information. So there you go. And DBS Chronicles has been claiming for months that he knows the most information about the web anime. So if it's wrong, we know who to blame, right? Anyway, so yeah, so we're gonna go through this one more time, and then we'll pause and we'll talk about some things. So let's do it.
Dragon Ball Magic, and it'll take place before the end of Z.
All right, so
Goku in the Supreme anime. The name will be Dragon Ball Magic, and it'll take place before.
So it will take place before the end of Z. So, if this is true, like I said, I'm taking this with a grain of salt. I'm taking this with a little grain of salt till I hear at New York Comic Con. Because like I said, Chronicles could be wrong. Chronicles doesn't work. The Chronicles has been wrong before. So it will take place before the end of Z, right? So remember, Dragon Ball Super takes place between the 10 years from the end of the Buu saga to when Goku meets Oob at the end of Dragon Ball Z, right? So during those 10 years, of course, is where Dragon Ball Super is. Dragon Ball Super, so based on what Chronicles is saying here, this show takes place at least after Superhero. We don't know how long after Superhero, but it does take place after Superhero, right? The DBS Superhero movie. So it'll take place before the end of Z, right? So my thing is, if this is true, right? If this is true, why? And Super already takes place in the time between the end of Buu Saga and before the end of DBZ. Why doesn't you could have kind of made this show or whatever just part of Dragon Ball Super? You could have done like a Dragon Ball Magic arc in Dragon Ball Super, in my opinion, right? Like, I don't know. You could have had done the Moro Granola arcs and then do this Dragon Ball Magic arc or whatever. That's my thing. I don't know. What's of course, like I said, there's a lot that we don't know about this show, but that's just the thing I'm thinking. If it does indeed take place before the end of Z, you could have made Dragon Ball Magic just a part of Dragon Ball Super, and you could have put the story of this show, just put it under the Dragon Ball Super umbrella, and that would have taken out all the confusion right there. Because everyone's gonna, if this is true, there's gonna be people that are gonna ask, why didn't you just make it part of Dragon Ball Super? Because Super also take place before the end of Z. So, unless Toriyama wants it to be completely separate from Super, I don't know. That's my thing. All right. But like I said, I'm just taking this with a grain of salt right now until we hear from the official announcement at New York Comic Con. But Chronicles is saying this show will take place before the end of Z. So after Superhero. That's the assumption we can make. How long after Superhero? We don't know. It could be right after. It could, cause remember, the time between Superhero and the end of Z, it's not that much. We're almost there. DBS is almost at the point where they have to go over the end of Z if they choose to keep going with the show.
For the end of Z, Goku and the Supreme Kai turn into kids by a demon. And it will be their objective to chase and defeat Goku and the Supreme Kai turn into kids.
So Goku and the Supreme Kai will be turned into kids by a demon. So remember, the thing is, we've never seen Supreme Kai as a kid, right? And it also brings up another point. If Dragon Ball Magic was to take place after the Majin Buu saga, that would be interesting because remember, at that time the Supreme Kai was fused with Kibito. So yeah, remember they were fused together during the Buu saga, and that was a little bit before Battle of Gods. So that they would have to explain that. So that would be interesting. So we've never seen the Supreme Kai here. So I like the way he edited it.
By Ball Magic, and it'll take place before the end of Z. Goku and the
because you just have the normal Supreme Kai, and since we've never seen the Supreme Kai as a kid before, all he did was just take the Supreme Kai's normal, and then just shrink it.
Supreme Kai turn into kids.
Look, you just stroke it
By a demon, and
we have no idea what the demon's gonna look like.
It will be their objective to chase the end of Z. Goku and the Supreme.
We have no idea. We have no idea about the demon. We have no idea. Like, I know some people are making already assumptions. Oh, it's Mira and Toa, from the Xenoverse or from Dragon Ball Heroes. We have zero idea who this demon is, and I doubt it'll be Mira Toa. But of course, Toriyama, if he chose to do that, he could. He could easily, take Mira and Toa and make them be the demons or the main enemy of the show. Like I said, we don't know. We don't know. We have no idea what this demon is after or why this demon turns them into kids, right? We just know that that a demon will turn them into kids in this show.
Kai turn into kids by a demon, and it will be their objective to chase and defeat that very same demon so that they can get back their kids by a demon. And it will be their objective to chase and defeat that very same demon so that they can get back their bodies. To do so, they will go from planet to planet fighting all sorts of grunts. Most characters
very similar to Dragon Ball GT. So one thing that I have heard, will Goku have his normal Dragon Ball superpowers, right? If this does take place, if it's canon, you know, um, will Goku have his powers? Like, will Goku be able to turn Super Saiyan 2, 3, God, Blue, Ultra Instinct Sign, Ultra Instinct Omen, all that, all Mastered UI, all that? Will Goku have those powers? We don't know. We don't know the answers to that. Maybe as a result of Goku getting being turned back into a kid, maybe maybe Goku doesn't have access to his full power. Well, of course, when Goku in GT, right, when Goku was turned to a kid, he could still go Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, and eventually learn Super Saiyan 4. But those prior forms weren't as strong just because his body was smaller and he was a kid. You know, physically, his body was at a younger age, so he wasn't able to be as strong as he would be in those forms as an adult. So we don't know. We don't know if Goku will be able to go blue or any of his other forms in this show. That might not be the point of this show. Of course, there's going to be fun battles and a lot of fighting and everything like that. But like I said, this might not be as edgy as Dragon Ball Super and the battles we've seen in those shows. This might be more of an adventure story, for all we know. I don't know what the tone and the vibe is gonna be for this show. I'm not expecting it. It's gonna be different from what we saw with Dragon Ball Super for sure. And that could be really good. For some people, they're not gonna like it. They're gonna want the normal craziness that they get from Dragon Ball, like in Dragon Ball Super. But at first, we need to see what this is gonna look like. We need to know what this show's going to look like first. And I'm going to give it a chance. If I don't like it, I will be the first ones to tell you, But, I'm going to give it a chance and wait till we actually get it before, saying anything about it. Also, another thing, the animation will be 2D. It'll be 2D. So I know there was a lot of people that didn't like Dragon Ball Superheroes animation. The 3D was not as bad as any of us expected it. It was different, and of course, I would prefer the normal 2D style, like what we saw in the Broly movie and what we've come to know from Dragon Ball. But I didn't hate the 3D. But based on what I've been told, it will be the normal 2D, episodes that Dragon Ball's had in the past outside of superhero. And that it's going to be some of the best art that we've ever seen out of Dragon Ball, which I'm very excited about. Dragon Ball Super Broly was probably the best animated anime movie or one of the best animated anime movies I've ever seen. Definitely the best I've ever seen from Dragon Ball, but in general, and I've seen a lot of anime, that was beauty. If we get that level of art in this show, especially given that they've been working on this for a while now, right? That's gonna be hype. We can get so many cool art visuals from what we get from this show. And plus, based on what I've heard, they've already finished a good amount of episodes. Like, the entire show is not complete yet, but they've already finished a good amount of episodes, and they're gonna be ready to start the show in early 2024, right? So that is hype. I'm hyped that we're getting 2D animated. Because remember, go back to Dragon Ball Super. Dragon Ball Super had inconsistencies, especially very early on. Very early on, through at least the first 20-something episodes of Dragon Ball Super. At some points the episodes would look amazing. Other times it would look horrific, right? And then, of course, as Dragon Ball Super went on, the animation got more consistent and better, and it wasn't really much of a problem. Here and there was some instances where there were problems with it, but for the most part, everything was good after, like episode 25 in Dragon Ball Super. They've been working on this for some time, and since they're not rushing, that allows the animators to put out their best work. There are a lot of times in the anime business, especially when you have a weekly show that doesn't take breaks, sometimes when a lot of these animators are on deadline and they have to get stuff done like this. So sometimes they have to rush that work, and it doesn't come up. And you can tell when an anime is rushed and with the animators. It is obvious. So I'm happy to hear that, at least with this show, that the art is going to be very consistent. And since they already have a good amount of episodes done, um, that when the show does come out, it's going to be clean, it's going to be good, and even if you don't like the show or the plot line or whatever, the the art itself is at least going to be enjoyable. So at least if you don't end up liking Dragon Ball Magic, one thing you can say is that I at least enjoyed the animation. It was clean animation. It was very enjoyable.
Back their bodies. To do so, they will go from planet to planet fighting all sorts of grunts. Most characters will be new. Two in particular will help Goku in the Supreme Kai, but there will also be some other
new characters. So like I said, it says so it says here there'll be a lot of new characters, which we expected, right? But there will also be some other older characters. So I've spoken with some people. So there's some people that I do know what these new characters will be. Some of these characters will have inspiration from past Dragon Ball characters. Like I've been told, there's a character that will be helping Goku and the Supreme Kai that has a sword. And there's a female character out there that will be helping Goku and Trunks. I don't know. I don't have all the information on these characters, but that's part of what makes this exciting. As we get more information about the show, we'll learn more about these new characters, and it'll be exciting. Something cool, something new. I don't want all the information about the show right now. Right? I want to be surprised a little bit as well, even though it'll be my job to cover it. And of course, once we get to New York Comic Con and we get more information, and once the show starts coming out, I'm gonna be making videos a lot more. Still, man, I'm just, I want to be surprised as well, and I want to enjoy the show as much as, if it's bad, it's bad. But I think it's gonna be cool, and I'm excited because Toriyama is the one. He's spearheading this. He has a huge role in this show. The rumors coming out of it that Toriyama has more input and more to do with the show than he's had in a very long time. Because of course, like with the Dragon Ball Super manga, Toriyama more just gave bullet points to Toritaro, and then Toritaro would do the story based around those bullet points. Same thing with the Broly and the superhero movies and the Dragon Ball Super TV show. Toriyama was involved, and it was mainly his story, but he would mainly just give a bullet points of how he would like this and that. He would do a little bit of the character designs and a little bit of the script, and then he would hand it off to Toei and Shueisha to do the rest. Based on what I've been heard, Toriyama is very, very hands-on with this project, and a lot of this will be his stuff. So if people don't like it, Toriyama, they can let Toriyama know, hey, we didn't fuck with Dragon Ball Magic. But I'm gonna give it a chance just because it's Toriyama, and the second you put Toriyama's name on something when it comes to Dragon Ball, it has instant credibility just because it's Toriyama. And remember, part of this is because the 40th anniversary of the original Dragon Ball manga is next year. So 40 years ago, next year in 2024 was when Dragon Ball first started back in 1984. And I've heard this is Toriyama's been actually wanting to do this for a while. So definitely it's gonna be cool to see Toriyama's creativity on full display with this show, and I trust him. I think it's gonna be good. Toriyama rarely fails when it comes to Dragon Ball. So I'm actually pretty excited for this.
For older characters, Katsuyoshi Nakasuru will be character designer and Aya Komaki series director. Animation style ranging from 90s looks to more modern animation and even 3D scenes akin to DQ Dai.
Okay. So very exciting stuff. Very exciting stuff with the animation. Like I said earlier, we don't know which older characters are going to be appearing. Of course, I think it would be awesome if we got Kid Goku and Kid Vegeta. That, like, if they had done that, that would have got me hyped. Because one thing, they've done,
Planet to planet, fighting all sorts of grunts. Most characters will be new. Two in particular will help Goku in the Supreme Kai, but there will also be some other old.
like, because if I'm being honest, of course Goku's he's the face of the Dragon Ball franchise, right? Everything is about Goku, but we've seen the Kid Goku route done before with Dragon Ball GT. I think if they had gone down the route with also Kid Vegeta, we've never done Kid Vegeta. We've only seen the flashbacks that Kid Vegeta, in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie when Vegeta was in the tube, right? And then back in DBZ, but we've never seen an actual like Kid Vegeta like show. Like I feel like that would have been cool if this was something like I love the idea of the Supreme Kai being the second main character of the show, but if it was both Kid Goku and Kid Vegeta as kids, I think that would be really cool. We've seen the Kid Goku route before. That's the thing. And of course I understand it. Goku's the face of the franchise. But if you had done like Kid Goku and Kid Vegeta, that would have been fun.
Older characters. Anime into DQ Dai. Dragon Ball Magic will debut in the first half of 2024, and it'll go on for about 14 to 15 episodes.
So based on what Chronicles is saying, the show's supposed to start in the early part of 2024 and will go on for about 14 to 50 episodes.
With a duration of 30 to 45 minutes each.
So that's big. So it's going to be much shorter than anything we've seen. So this is not going to be a super long series, right? If it's 14 to 15 episodes, based on what Chronicles is saying, that means, let's say it starts, I don't know, like March or April. It could be earlier than that, but let's say it starts March or April. Because remember, a good amount of episodes are already done. A lot of these episodes are already complete. So if it comes out, like early 2024, like January or February, the show's going to be, and it's on, like, let's say we get one episode a week, right? The show will be done by mid 2024. Or sometime during the summer. So, because it'll be done like what, 4 or 5 months, depending on if it takes break or anything like that. So it's not going to be a super long show. It's not going to be a super long show. But the thing about it is, if you're getting 30 to 45 minutes, and of course you're able to do this if it's a web anime, because if it's a TV anime, you have to factor in commercial breaks, right? So and most and TV animation. Our episodes are about 20 minutes long, right? 20, 21 minutes long. Factoring in, of course, your intro, your outro, all that. With a web anime, you have a lot more creativity to do whatever you want. So if it's 30 to 45 minutes for each episode, that's basically 2 anime episodes in one episode. So if it's like 45 minutes, like let's say 40 minutes for each episode, and it's only a 15 episode series, technically it's more like a 30 episode series in a way, if you want to break it down like that, because it's basically one anime episode every 20 minutes, right? And we haven't heard any news about Dragon Ball Magic having a manga or anything like that. It seems like this was specifically just to be a show. All right. So I'm not expecting Dragon Ball Magic to be super long. Like, I'm not expecting it to be 100 something episodes like Dragon Ball Super, or anything like that. This seems like it's going to be a fun side project for Toriyama. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe if it's successful, they continue it again. Maybe like a Dragon Ball Magic season 2, or they do something else. But based on what we've been told, it's gonna be 14 to 15 episodes with a 30 to 45 minute each episode length. So that's that.
The anime will mainly stream on Crunchyroll in most parts of the world. Official announcement coming soon. Thanks to Super Chronicles on Twitter for the.
So there you have it. DBS Chronicles giving the reveals. So there you have it. So that's what we know about Dragon Ball Magic. So the biggest things, so it's not Dragon Ball Super, right? It's supposed to take place before the end of DBZ. when Goku meets Oob. 3, Goku and Supreme Kai are the main characters. 4, Goku and the Supreme Kai will be turned back into kids, and the main enemy, they'll be chasing a magical demon to try to get their adult bodies back, right? 5, it is a web anime and not a TV anime, and where the episodes will be about 30 to 45 minutes length each, right? 6, 2D animation. It's not 3D like superhero. It's a 2D animated show, right? And I think those are the biggest things. I don't think I'm forgetting anything else. But those like of course the biggest things from the show. 7, it's called Dragon Ball Magic. That's really it. Of course there's tons of questions out there. Tons of questions. And of course, I don't know what to expect. It's different. It's something different. So it makes it harder to judge. And of course, there's times where a lot of people don't like something new. All right. I don't always like something new. But at the end of the day, I'm still excited for the show. You know, I love Dragon Ball. It's my favorite show ever. And I've missed having a Dragon Ball weekly show to react and talk about. It's been 5 years since Dragon Ball Super ended. You know, and of course we've had the manga still, and of course we've had 2 movies in that time, but it's not the same. Whether you liked Dragon Ball Super or not, and I say this all the time, whether you like the show or not, still the fact that we got it every single week, it gave you something to talk about. That was the best thing about Dragon Ball Super, because when Dragon Ball Z came out and Dragon Ball came out, I wasn't even alive yet. You know, of course, growing up, I watched DBZ Kai, and then I fell in love with Dragon Ball. I have almost all the video games and everything. But you know, Dragon Ball Super gave me the experience that I didn't get with DBZ and Dragon Ball because I wasn't alive yet. You know, and whether it was good or not, whether an episode was great or not, still having something to talk about and look forward to every single weekend, I've missed that. And if Dragon Ball Magic is good, you know, it's gonna be exciting to have that every single week, at least for, you know, the 4 or 5 months that the show is on the air, right? If it is 14 to 15 episodes, like Chronicle says, and that's, I think, is the most exciting part. If Dragon Ball Magic is good, right, we're gonna have something to look forward to and talk about every single week, for the duration of this show. And it's gonna make it fun as a fan. It's gonna make it fun as a content creator because we get to make videos on it and, you know, talk about it. And this is a Dragon Ball channel, you know. But, you know, I'm just excited that Dragon Ball is coming back. As badly as I want Dragon Ball Super to come back on the air, I'm just happy that we're getting something Dragon Ball wise. And I really just hope that this show is good. Really, more than anything, I hope this show is good. I don't know. We're gonna get the teaser where you only gotta wait about, you know, a couple more weeks, you know, 2.5 more weeks till New York Comic Con. So in 2.5 more weeks we'll get the teaser, and then there'll be a lot more for us to be excited and hyped about in terms of Dragon Ball Magic. But that is what we know, and we just gotta sit back, be patient, and wait. If it's good, great. If it's bad, we'll deal with that when the time comes. But still, you know, I'm just happy that we got
reveal everything you need.
I'm just happy that we're getting something back with Dragon Ball. All right, but yeah, I think that's about it. I think I covered pretty much everything I needed to. I know this was a longer video, but I wanted to make sure that I covered everything. I basically made this into a podcast. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Are you guys excited for Dragon Ball Magic? What are your thoughts? Of course, like I said, we gotta wait. You know, we gotta wait. We don't know everything about this show yet. You know, we gotta wait until New York Comic Con to get more information. Everything we know about this show right now is based off leaked information from DBS Chronicles and DBS Hype and Geekdom 101. Well, of course, once we have more information, there will be more to talk about. But we know we're gonna get the teaser trailer in a couple months or a couple weeks, right? And hopefully we'll get a release date. Hopefully we'll get some more stuff. But we just got to be patient for now. We just gotta be patient. Um, but let me know in the comment section what your guys' thoughts are. Are you guys excited for Dragon Ball Magic? Are you guys not? You know, but like I said, if you guys aren't excited, I would also say still just wait. Just wait till we get more. And then come out with an opinion. Right now, all we know is just information. We haven't seen the teaser trailer. We haven't seen what it's gonna look like. You know, let's wait until we get some more information about the show at New York Comic Con. Other than that, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. We will be covering everything when it comes to Dragon Ball Magic. This is your home. So any new information that I hear about the show, I will be making videos about it. So let me know in the comment section down below if you guys have any questions, and I'll try to get those answers for you guys. Subscribe if you guys love Dragon Ball. Subscribe because this is going to be your home for all things Dragon Ball Magic. Follow me down on social media. The links are in the description down below. Hit the bell again. Hit the bell next to my name, Fitzmonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. I'm gonna get out of here. Stay safe and healthy, y'all. Peace.